Hi, this is Gene from Listening In Radio, KB 9001 MWDX SWL SSB, and of course my ham radio call sign WN9ZWC. I just had a question this morning from somebody on our Discord page here in Iowa, radio operators here in Iowa. So what I want to do is I had a question about shortwave listening because they're probably just kind of trying to get adjusted to it and maybe not sure how to pull in that signal. So here I'm going to give you some advice on how to do that. And this should work with any radio that has an antenna connection, and you can even put an alligator clip on there and just attach it to your whip on your shortwave radio, and it'll work just fine. But let me give you kind of an overview of what I've done here and how it works. Okay, here we are. What I did is I just went online and I bought a 25-foot piece of copper wire, and it's obviously made for antenna wire, and I put some connectors on the, excuse the dog next door, and put some connectors on here. This is my feed line right here going to my shack, and I simply connected it here with some of those cool shrink things with the heat gun and attached that to my main wire antenna. Then my main wire antenna heads out to a support just across the yard. But what I did is I decided recently to add to this, but I didn't go out and order another braid. You know, I had some copper wire, like a couple small spools of copper wire that I could use, and what I did is I just ran it down here. And by the way, the reason I extended it is C. Crane Company actually recommends that you have 100 foot of wire for your antenna, and guess what? They're absolutely right, because it's working out really good, and I'm listening to some daytime stuff like Voice of America up on the upper broadcast band on shortwave. But I took this and I did manage to pull about 100 feet out of it, and it kind of goes across the yard. I don't know if you can see this, there's too many trees. So I guess this part of it's a little stealthy, so to speak. Oh, here it is. And this is just I don't know if you can even see it. It's so tiny. It's just yeah, you can barely see it there. But that's just a small piece of wire. So there's not, and that doesn't lend to a lot of strength, but you don't need a lot of strength because it's very low profile. It's probably not going to pick up any wind. But what I did is I just simply wrapped it around my fence line here, and I just kept going. And let me see. Yeah, it's up here if you can kind of trace it. And it ran all the way around the yard here, but I ran it completely around the yard, and it ends over there near my my HF antenna. That's the end of it. So that's quite a ways. So that is about 100 feet of wire. But like I said, this is what C. Crane recommended, and I tried it, and it is working out. And it takes very little effort to do that. It's just a matter of running a couple wires and attaching a feed line to your main wire antenna that's suspended. And like I said, this part of the first part of the antenna is suspended between this pole right here, and it runs back towards my shack where I pick up the feed line. So that's what you need to get started with ham radio. And of course, you know, if you take your radio outside, it's always going to work better inside than outside. For example, my roof is actually a steel roof, so my shortwave radios and AM radios don't work too well on the inside, and I tend to either use a control coil antenna or some other external antenna to hook up to it so it operates better, because just with the steel roof on my house, we just don't get the type of reception you might expect, so you have to kind of work your way around that. So, okay, just a short down and dirty video to show you what a wire antenna looks like, and it's very easy to put together so you can listen to shortwave. And there's still a lot on shortwave. There's many stations out there to be heard. It takes a little bit more effort because you know those big broadcasters aren't out there anymore, but there's a lot of broadcasters that still are. So put that wire antenna up, give it a listen. Thanks, bye-bye.